Welcome to Carl Jung's Legacy, a space where we gently explore the quiet depths of the soul through the illuminating lens of one of the greatest minds in psychology, Carl Jung. Have you ever met someone and from the very first moment felt a connection you couldn't explain? No reason, no history, just a quiet knowing, as if they were somehow meant to appear in your life. Could it be that everyone we meet comes with a purpose? And if so, what is that purpose? To love us? To hurt us? Or perhaps to reveal something about ourselves? In today's video, we'll dive into the question, Carl Jung, no one enters your life by accident. A journey inward, through the people who've crossed your path. Jung and the principle of projection. We see ourselves in others. Have you ever wondered, why am I drawn to this person, but not to that one? It's not because they're perfect. It's not because they resemble someone you once loved. It's because they awaken a part of you that you haven't fully seen yet. Carl Jung called this the mechanism of projection, one of the core concepts in his analytical psychology. Simply put, we project the parts of ourselves we don't fully understand onto others. And in doing so, we begin to see ourselves, but reflected through someone else. We're attracted to what's missing within us. Deep down, every human being longs for wholeness, but the challenge is, we don't know what we're missing until the unconscious turns on a light, usually through someone we meet. When you feel your heart race around someone, it might not be because they're your type, but because they carry a piece of you that you've lost or never dared to express. Someone strong makes you feel safe because you don't feel strong enough. Someone gentle makes you feel calm because you've lived too long in harshness. Someone who lives boldly makes you admire them because you've never dared to live that way. You don't love them. You love the part of yourself that you glimpse through them. The unconscious mirror and the sweet illusion of the soul. The danger of projection is this. It feels incredibly real, but it's not entirely true. You think you understand the other person, but what you're really seeing is a mental image, like watching a film projected on a screen and forgetting it's just a film. Jung said we often fall in love unconsciously. We don't see the person clearly. We see the mask we've placed on them. That's why many relationships start with intensity and mystery. But as time passes, the mask falls, and we feel disappointed, confused, or even betrayed. But the truth is, they didn't change. You're just beginning to see them clearly, and in that process, seeing yourself more clearly too. Love and hate are both mirrors of the shadow Jung believed. What we don't accept within ourselves gets pushed into the darkness, a place he called the shadow. And strangely enough, that shadow doesn't disappear. It reappears through other people. The person you envy might be showing you something you were once told to suppress. The person you despise might embody a trait you've never allowed yourself to explore. And the person you love the most may be the one who forces you to face your shadow most directly. In love, we don't just love with our hearts, we love with our psychological history, with our old wounds, and with the shadow we've never dared to name. Understanding projection to mature in relationships. Jung's message wasn't stop falling in love. It was love with awareness. See connection as an opportunity for self-reflection. When you feel deeply drawn to someone, pause and ask, what part of me are they reflecting back? Am I truly seeing them, or the image I've created? What am I seeking in them? And is it something I could give myself? Projection isn't a flaw. It's the beginning of recognition. Because when you start seeing yourself more clearly through others, that's when the journey of inner growth truly begins. As Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every encounter is a doorway back to the self. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, but each person, in some way, leaves a mark. And sometimes that mark becomes the very doorway back to your true self. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey where a person slowly sheds false identities, social roles, and unconscious masks to become their most whole, authentic, and unique self. And that journey almost always begins with a meeting. Each person awakens something inside you. Some people enter and bring relief. Others stir confusion, restlessness, even pain. Some make you feel more alive than ever, and others pass through like a storm. But in every case, they strike a chord in your soul. A chord you didn't know existed. The one who makes you feel small, maybe echoing a lost sense of confidence. The one who makes you feel loved, maybe the first light after a long season of wounds. The one who hurts you, maybe pointing to places still left unhealed. Every intense feeling, every powerful reaction in a relationship is a sign of inner movement. And that movement is the raw material of individuation. Not everyone is meant to stay, but everyone comes with a reason. Some relationships feel like you finally found your missing half, but as time passes, that connection fades. Many people are left with regret or self-blame. Why did something so beautiful slip away? But Jung would say, perhaps they weren't meant to walk the whole path with you. They came only to hand you a piece of yourself you had never met before. And once that part is delivered, their soul quietly steps away, like a teacher who has fulfilled their task. Some connections are never meant to be forever, but they were meant to be, because without them, you wouldn't know what you were missing, what you were avoiding, or what your soul was truly longing for. Love isn't always meant to be held, but to be opened. In psychology, people often seek security, stability, and happy endings. But in the deeper realms of soul growth, Jung reminds us, every intense emotional experience is an invitation to expand into a new layer of consciousness. Love, attraction, joy, pain, they don't always need to be kept. They rise and fall like waves, but each wave brings you a little closer to the inner shore where your real self lives. You don't need to hold on to someone to feel whole, because in the end, you are the anchor of your own becoming. The path of individuation isn't walked alone. It passes through every person you've loved, resented, or lost. We cannot fully know ourselves by sitting alone in silence. Jung understood this deeply. We are beings shaped in interaction, reflection, and collision. And it is those collisions, those unfinished stories, those lingering wounds, that form the very map of our soul's development. Everyone you've ever met, whether they stayed a moment or a decade, left behind a piece of your self-story. One taught you how to love. One taught you how to leave. One taught you how to forgive. And sometimes, one taught you that it's time to stop searching for yourself in others and finally turn inward. And that is the core of individuation. To return to yourself, not by avoiding relationships, but by moving through them, feeling them fully, and discovering what they were always meant to teach you. The sleeping archetypes and the ones who awaken them. There are connections in life that defy logic and labels. You meet someone, and with just a passing glance, a brief brush of shoulders in a crowd, something stirs inside you, a strange, familiar feeling, as if you've known them forever, as if they existed in your life long before this life began. Carl Jung called this resonance the pull of the collective unconscious, a deep inner realm shared by all humans, where symbols, patterns, and primal emotions reside. And within that space lie the archetypes, eternal psychic blueprints that echo through time. Someone appears and awakens ancient images within you. We don't respond to people only with logic. Some emotions bypass memory. They bypass reason. When you feel an uncontrollable pull towards someone, it may not be because they're special, but because they've activated a dormant archetype within you. Someone who makes you feel the need to protect them may have awakened the mother in you. Someone who brings light to your darkness might be the embodiment of the Savior. Someone who terrifies yet mesmerizes you may be calling forth your inner shadow. These archetypes aren't born from personal memory. They rise from the shared legacy of humanity, a memory forged through thousands of years of loving, losing, fighting, and longing. Why are archetypal relationships so intense and unstable? Archetypal connections often feel like destiny. They don't arrive gently. They're not logical or balanced. They surge like an underground current, pulling you into emotional depths that you can't fully control. That's why they're often intense, even chaotic, because when an archetype is awakened, it doesn't just stir emotions, it triggers unconscious memories, unmet desires, and unhealed wounds. You feel both close and distant, safe and endangered, like you're meeting a part of yourself, but a part you never knew existed. Unconscious resonance and the illusion of past lives. Many people describe these encounters as, it's like I've known them in a past life. But from Jung's perspective, you don't need past lives to explain that feeling, because the emotional intensity may come directly from the depths of the collective unconscious. We are creatures of symbol, and when someone reflects an image that matches a powerful archetype within you, the connection feels instant, even if your mind can't explain it. That feeling of we belong to each other may simply be two archetypes resonating at the right moment. Awakening in the midst of archetypal relationships. The answer isn't to run from these powerful connections, but to understand their deeper meaning. When you realize that the emotional charge isn't just coming from the present moment, but from layers of inner symbolism, you gain the power to stay grounded. You can still love, but without losing yourself. You can still connect, but know exactly what you're connecting to. You can still open your heart, but remain awake inside the wave of feeling. Archetypes aren't wrong. Emotions aren't wrong. But if you don't understand what's rising within you, those emotions may begin steering the direction of your entire life. And sometimes the person you believe was your destiny was simply a mirror, reflecting the oldest image stored deep in your soul. Not to stay, but to help you understand yourself. The ones who came to teach you something. Some people don't come into your life to stay, they come to change you. They arrive as if placed by something greater. Right time, right role, right when your soul needed something it couldn't yet name. Sometimes their presence feels like a miracle, other times like a storm. But in every case they bring a lesson, one only they could give. They awaken something inside you. Life doesn't teach us through books, it teaches through people. Some teach us how to love, through their tenderness. Some teach us how to hurt, through sudden coldness. Some teach us hope, and then despair. And through them, we're forced to face ourselves, the unspoken expectations, the unhealed wounds, the emptiness we never admitted was there. They may never try to teach us anything, but their presence, the way they love, leave, or stay silent, becomes a mirror through which we begin to learn. Pain, in the doorway back to the soul. No one enjoys being hurt, but often our deepest wounds become the first cracks in the walls we build around ourselves. Someone who leaves doesn't just create a space, they open a question. Why did I need them so much? Someone who betrays you shakes your trust, but also begins your journey to reclaim self-worth. Someone who can't love you the way you love them may be forcing you to finally love yourself first. Carl Jung once said, "Where you stumble, there lies your treasure." Sometimes the person who wounds you is also the one who hands you the first key to your inner world. The role may be brief, but the lesson is lifelong. Not everyone who shows up is meant to stay, but that doesn't make them unimportant or unworthy. Some people appear only for a short chapter, but leave a mark that shapes your entire story. A romance that lasted just a few months, but taught you the difference between closeness and dependence. A soul friend who vanished without warning, taught you that silence, too, can be a kind of ending. A person you thought was forever, who became a memory, taught you that everything has its time. No one plays a role forever. But if they entered your life, there was a reason, and when they left, they had fulfilled that purpose. Not all love is meant to be kept. Some are meant to teach. We grow through experience, but we mature through awareness. The difference between suffering and wisdom is whether you're willing to learn from what hurt you. Everyone who enters your life is a chapter. Some open with laughter, some end in tears, but if you read closely, you'll see. No one was ever the wrong person, No time was ever truly wasted. Every person was a mirror, reflecting a part of yourself you were meant to recognize. And perhaps most of all, be grateful to the ones who made you laugh and the ones who broke you open. Because without them, you wouldn't be the deeper version of yourself that you are today. Healing doesn't come only from within, it also comes through others. In recent years, one idea has echoed loudly. Heal yourself. We're told to learn self-love, to stand on our own, to find light within. And that's true. It's needed. But Carl Jung offered a deeper reminder. We cannot fully heal in isolation, because human beings are not islands. We can't see the entirety of who we are by looking inward alone. We need someone else to appear, a mirror, in order to truly see ourselves. Others are the deepest mirrors of the self. On our own, we only see what we already know. But in relationships, through reactions, conflict, closeness, we begin to glimpse parts of ourselves we never imagined. Someone who makes you feel insecure may be reflecting the part of you you haven't yet learned to love. Someone who triggers your anger may be pressing on the wounds you've buried deep. Someone who brings you peace may be mirroring the forgotten part of your soul. Healing begins the moment you stop looking outward to blame and begin looking inward to ask, why am I reacting this way? Don't avoid the feeling. Listen to what it's trying to say. Many people fear attraction, fear being vulnerable, fear messy relationships, fear love, fear loss, fear disappointment. But in depth psychology, emotion is the gateway to the unconscious. If you feel an overwhelming emotion around someone, don't run. Pause. Ask yourself, what is this feeling here to teach me? What part of me is being touched that I don't fully understand? If this is a message from my unconscious, what is it asking me to hear? Healing doesn't come from avoiding feelings. It comes from standing still, observing, and listening carefully to the whisper within. Not everyone makes you feel safe, but everyone has a role. Along your path, you'll meet two kinds of people: those who make you feel safe, accepted, and able to be yourself, and those who challenge you, unsettle you, even hurt you. Both are essential. The first helps you believe in your worth. The second helps you see where you're still wounded. If everyone made you feel comfortable, you'd never uncover the fears you've buried. If everyone overflowed with love, you'd never realize just how little love you once received. People don't come just to love you. They come to teach you how to love yourself more. Inner growth is a journey of courage and truth. Jung once said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. To grow from the inside out, we can't cling only to what's pleasant. We have to go through the conflict. We have to face the pain. We have to be radically honest with ourselves. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to do it alone. Others, whether lovers, friends, or strangers, can all become pieces of the puzzle. They don't heal you, but they offer you the chance to heal yourself by touching parts of you you could never see on your own. And when that moment comes, when you can feel gratitude, not only for those who brought you peace, but even for those who broke you open, that's when you'll know you've truly grown. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. I hope that through the ideas of Carl Jung, you can begin to look at the relationships in your life with deeper eyes, not just to understand others, but to truly understand yourself. Every encounter carries a message. Sometimes it's love, sometimes it's pain. But if you're calm enough to listen and brave enough to learn, then no one who's ever entered your life was meaningless. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue exploring thoughtful, soul-deep topics like this together. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, may you walk in peace on your journey to understand yourself in the life unfolding around you. Thank you.